This week in round 2, we'll be replicating a key component of coffee competitions all over the world, the signature beverage. Competitors will be tasked with building a creative and delicious coffee drink from a box of mystery ingredients. Hello and welcome to the Barista League online. I'm your host, Sierra Yo. In the last episode, our 8 competitors slurped their way through 5 different mystery coffees, trying to guess the processing method and the origin of each. An Nguyen from New Zealand finished first place in round 1 with a total of 18 points from 6 correct answers, followed closely by MIMO from Brooklyn, New York with 15 points from 5 correct answers. With 2 rounds left to go and plenty of points still to be awarded, it's still anyone's game. This week in round 2, each competitor has to incorporate 2 mandatory ingredients from the box into their recipe. 1, a washed Colombian coffee from Morgon Coffee Roasters in Sweden, and 2, Pacific Foods Barista Series oat drink. Each competitor also has to include 1 other ingredient at least from the box into their drink. Let's have a look to see what they chose.
Another mysterious bag of some red powder.
What the heck, Steve? Some sort of spicy spice?
Hot and spicy!
It hit the back of my throat. Are these mints? Lacquer? Sweet licorice.
Kind of tastes like a candied cigarette. Delicious. Yep. Okay, cool.
What the heck is this? Half a nut? Yep, just raw nutmeg. Oh, that's not very nice. That's a little offensive. This is so melted. Is this chocolate? Was chocolate?
Maybe it's the peppermint patty?
That's mint, all right. It's fine. I'll stick it in the freezer and figure it out.
Marshmallows, I might have eaten some of them already.
Oh, poofy sugar friends?
Colorful marshmallows. Piglin drop? Piglin drops?
Piglin.
Piglin drops? Piglin drops. I don't know how to read.
I wonder what a piglin is.
The little pillow.
Just tastes like an apple candy.
For those of you who aren't Swedish, pigelin is a classic Swedish icy treat, in this case made into the form of a hard apple candy. We asked for help from some of our friends in pronouncing it like a true Swede.
Pigelin.
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 Once our competitors figure out how to use those crazy ingredients in a drink, we'll send all the recipes over to a special guest judge who will remake each of the drinks and then score them based on flavor, creativity, and presentation. So we were thinking, who better to ask to judge this competition than someone who already knows the ins and outs of the competition coffee itself? Co-founder of Morgon Coffee Roasters in Sweden, and also one of the earliest winners of the Barista League in 2016, please welcome Gabriella Runesson.
Hi, I'm Gabriella and I'm here in Gothenburg, Sweden, and this is Mona.
Thanks so much for joining us, Gabby. Okay, let's get started. First, this week we're gonna head to Belfast, Northern Ireland to see what Stephen Houston's cooked up in his kitchen.
Oh, yes. I love after eats. Okay. This is going to probably be a very, very sweet drink. I'm thinking something that you could sip beside a fire and drink. You're sitting outside with friends. It's kind of like an after dinner kind of idea. What I'm going to do first was I'm going to make a small, almost like a syrupy concentrate using the lozengers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to melt down the after eat chocolate. Try and create like a little syrup maybe. I wish these hadn't melted to the paper because this is a nightmare. But hey. One of the biggest things I learned about competition is you have to learn how to adapt. And this is exactly what I'm doing. Tell this hasn't been practiced at all, have you? It's melting down nicely. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add about 5 ml of the licorice into the after eights that are melting. Next thing I'm gonna do is gonna create the coffee for this drink, making sure all the grounds are nice and submerged in the AeroPress chamber. I'm gonna press for about 35 seconds. You should end up with like a really big rock as well, like that. I'm gonna try and froth up and make it a bit more textured the Pacific oat drink, and then I'm gonna use the French press to like foam it up. But maybe making a topping of like cinnamon, nutmeg, paprika, but then throw in some like, you know, mini marshmallows. So this is my Northern Irish summer warmer drink.
So, Steven's drink. Really warm, cozy. I thought it was well balanced and it was creamy, just good flavors. Maybe the chili on the top was, yeah, I kind of inhaled it and I got a bit spicy. But drinking from the other side of the cup and just smelling the chili and the nutmeg added a really nice touch.
Next, we'll see what Kat Melheim is up to in Minnesota.
My concept with this drink is that there's a lot, right? There's a lot going on. I'm up and I'm down and I'm all around, and somehow in the middle of it, I'm still having a mostly good time. My drink is an affogato. You've got hot, cold, sweet, spicy, squishy, pokey, all in one. And it doesn't seem like any of those things go together. It doesn't seem like they would make sense together, but this drink is really good. A quarter cup of oat beverage goes into the plastic bag. Then half and half sugar, the marshmallows, pepper. Put this bag inside of the bag that now has the ice and the salt. And this is where the fun comes in. Start shaking. If it gets cold, you can grab your kitchen towel or your winter gloves. Shake until you're satisfied. Shake until all your frustration is gone.
Really cold.
And now it's time to make the coffee portion of this signature drink. Grab your AeroPress, and we're gonna be brewing with an inverted method. Put your 20 grams of ground coffee in there. This is the fun part. It's a little bit of innovation. Take your 6 raspberries, and put them in the AeroPress with your ground coffee. Boop, boop. Fun, look at that. Now grab your ice cream from the freezer. Oh yeah. We're gonna press right on top of this ice cream. So, whoop, and press. Keep pressing until it's all the way in because we wanna get those raspberries real squished. What you will experience with this drink are all the highs and lows and confusing things, but somehow it all works together.
Really like the creativity in this one. The whole ice cream thing, I should have taken your advice using gloves, but otherwise that was super great. I really liked the raspberry in the coffee. It added a nice acidity and it went really well with the coffee. But when I added the coffee onto the ice cream, it got a bit watery and I would have wished for maybe a more concentrated coffee. But overall, really good.
Next, we're headed to South Central Pennsylvania to make an at-home latte with Marley Cheney. A pretty perfect recipe for you folks out there who are still social distancing and haven't been able to visit cafes as much as you used to. Marley kicks us off by walking us through her syrup recipe.
Sugar, and I'm going to take half a cup of sugar and half a cup of water because I'm going to be steaming some milk. So now I'm going to add some cinnamon. That was about 10 shakes. I'm going to add a little bit of cayenne pepper. Sweet and spicy. Time to start brewing. All right, so like I said, my scale's broken, so I'm just gonna do measurements by spoonfuls and the numbers on the AeroPress. All right, time to start steaming my oat milk. And let's see how it tastes. So a pepper, cinnamon, latte.
I think it came out really well and it was tasted really good. It actually tasted like a chai latte, but I don't think it was creative enough for this competition, and I would have wished for some of the other ingredients to have been used or like shine through more. But overall, I drank the whole cup, and it was really good.
So as we've seen, coming up with a killer drink isn't a piece of cake. And even without the restrictions of a mystery box, coming up with a concept that works with coffee isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. So to help us and our competitors out, I'd like to introduce 2-time World Coffee and Good Spirits champion Dan Fellows to tell us a little bit more about what it takes to make an award-winning coffee cocktail.
Hey guys, I'm Dan Fellows and I'm the 2-time World Coffee and Good Spirits champion. And the thing people always ask me is, where should I start when I want to create my own coffee cocktails? And I'd say there are 4 different starting points to work from. So the first of which would be classic cocktails, or whatever your favourite cocktail might be. So something like a Negroni works really well. The kind of characteristics of the coffee combine really well with the bittersweet flavour notes of the drink. Another thing you can do is wherever you see bitters, you can substitute these out and replace them with something like espresso or cold brew or coffee liqueur. The second place I'd recommend starting would be a coffee that really inspires you. And I've seen so many amazing coffees out there at the moment that people roast in. So the third place to start would be a spirit or an ingredient that really inspires you. And then the final place to start would be a concept that you really want to learn more about or explore. So I've seen a lot of people trying to learn a little bit more about fermentation, and another really popular place to start is zero waste or reducing waste or reusing ingredients creatively. And there we have it. Best of luck in the Barista League, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Dan. Next, we're heading right back to the Keystone State to see what Kendra Slaginski is up to in Philadelphia.
I'm calling this the opening shift flip because I do have a version of this that can be made with all ingredients that you can find in a cafe. And I like to think that sometimes baristas oversleep and they need something like protein and something to fill them really fast. And if I were a barista that overslept, I would make one of these and I would be ready for my day. So let's get ready for the rest of your day. And if you haven't already put your hot water on, put the hot water on. You ready to brew? Set the stage. Loosen up those shoulders. All right, let's brew this thing. Are you having a good day today?
Yeah, I am. A really good day.
Well, we plunge in. First of all, 1 ounce of our simple syrup. I then want to give our oat beverage a little bit of a shake. Shake it too. And I want you to use a 1/2 ounce of that. Now I want you to take your coffee and I want you to add 3 ounces of the coffee.
It's a great way for me to learn ounces.
Now our dear star of the show, the egg. Crack that baby. Drop it in that shaker. Put the thing somewhere. Wipe your hands because you probably got something on it. I'm using my tablecloth. We can have a little laugh about this for a second, can't we? You ready? You ready for this? All right, lid that shaker and we're gonna shake it for 30 seconds. Get your vessel out. I'm using a flute because we're fancy today.
We're fancy too, but small fancy.
And now, get out that grater, get out that nutmeg, and
It's not even my birthday.
just enough to coat it. Ooh, so fragrant. And take a sip. Cheers to you.
Okay, so Kendra, personally, 10 out of 10. Coziness doing a drink along, 10 out of 10. But in the end, the ingredients didn't really come together that well, and yeah, it just didn't really make sense. But I had a great time.
Next up, we're headed to sunny Florida with Dimitra, who is working on some sort of cold brew soda float. Let's see how it all went down. Or up.
Alright, so we're gonna start by making some cold brew. Now you're gonna seal the jar, give it a quick little shake, make sure it's all evenly incorporated in there, and just let it sit for 24 hours. In the meantime, I'll walk you through the rest of the process.
Place your pot on the stove and add 1 1/3 cups of orange juice. Now measure out 1/4 cup of honey, add 2 sprigs of fresh rosemary. Okay, now we're gonna make ice cream Start by measuring out 1.5 cups of plain old cashews. Alright, add these cashews to a big old pot, cover them with water. Now set your pot on the stove and over medium-high heat, bring these babies up to a boil. Just leave them swimming there for about 15 minutes. Your weird little nutmeg. Very finely chop up the whole thing and add it to your blender. Add 1.5 cups of oat milk, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Alright, now grab some vanilla extract, grab some marshmallows. Time to add these cashews to the blender.
Look at this guy. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, check that out. Pop it in the freezer and forget about it for a day.
And pour your cold brew into the V60. Put this in a composting bin, use it for a face mask, do something with this. Add about 3 cupping spoons worth of your orange syrup. To this, you're going to add equal parts seltzer water and cold brew. Add a small amount of crushed ice. Lastly, we're going to take our freshly made ice cream and place it on top. The crushed ice kind of helps the ice cream float a little bit. Add a little bit more, why not? No one's stopping you. For funsies, take an orange, remove a generous sized peel, and squeeze it over top of your drink. Get in there, really get in there. Oh yeah, good shit.
So, Demi's drink. I thought the orange syrupy thing with the soda water and the coffee, that was delicious. The ice cream was a bit too strong, but also really good. But when I added them together, it didn't really make sense. But separately, delicious and delicious. So, before we go to the next competitor, we're gonna take a quick look behind the curtain.
Hey, I'm Steve. It's about 10 p.m. on Sunday night, a few days before we release this episode, and I want to take this opportunity to thank our video sponsors, Pacific Foods Barista Series. We came up with this concept way back in March, when like a couple days after Trump shut the borders to the US, and since then, through all these crazy months, Pacific Foods have been so helpful and supportive of us getting this project done throughout all those kind of crazy times and everything else that's going on. So a huge thank you to them, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the episode.
Now we're headed to Auckland, New Zealand, where Anduin has a pretty ambitious task ahead of him. Never one to shy away from a good challenge, and is going to attempt to make his drink from only the ingredients in the mystery box and nothing else. Let's see how he's getting on.
Sun here, back with round 2. I will stick with my gun by just using the mystery ingredient. That's it. We are going to start by crushing up the petulant drops into powder.
I'm gonna use the hammer, my favorite tool.
Add 3 grams of the powder to your glass. It will give your drink a zesty touch. Now we need to make your marshmallow syrup. Add 40 ml of hot oat drink to 10 grams of marshmallows and stir. We are going to do an AeroPress. Grind up your coffee. It's a ratio of 1 to 14. A bit stronger than usual. To cope with the dilution from the ice, we will add it in later. So, inverted method, add your coffee, then water, give it a good stir and press. You don't have to press hard, basically just rest your hands on it. Warm 70 ml of milk, add it to 30 grams of marshmallow syrup. Form using a French press until you double in volume. So now, let's sample. Add 70 grams of coffee to your petulant powder in your glass and stir. Add 110 grams of ice. It will create a slight layer of melted water that's going to have to keep the oat drink from separating. Now, we layer your formed milk marshmallow syrup on top, right nutmeg on top to finish. And there you go, my iced macchiato.
So this one, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really balanced, it tasted great, and I really like how specific you were with the recipe and like all the measurements, and it was super easy to follow. But in the end, it came out tasting more like cold coffee and milk, and I would have wished for the more exciting ingredients to come through a bit more. All in all, great work.
Next, we're headed to La Paz, Bolivia to check in with Nicolas Vargas. Now, for those of you that might remember, last episode Nicolas was still waiting on his The Barista League package to arrive. Well, still waiting on the package this week, but we've got a plan B. Let's see how Nicolas got on.
So, you know that I don't have my mystery box here, but Angela sent me my ingredients, and my mystery ingredients are marshmallows. Oh, I can make milk with that marshmallows. Mint chocolate. Oh, I am a fan of mint chocolate. Nutmeg. I know that I have nutmeg here. Yes. Maybe I can make a syrup. So, for the first step of my recipe, I will use the first ingredient. Marshmallows. 250 grams of oat milk. We have to wait for these marshmallows start to melt. Like a cream, to give my coffee a sweet flavor with a lot of body. Nutmeg in a French press. 250 grams of water. It's time to make a syrup. Now I will put a little bit of chocolate, sugar. So it's time to brew. I will put my marshmallow cream. This look very strange, but it smells delicious. And it's time to combine this syrup milk with this delicious coffee. So, and let's drink. Cheers.
So, Nicolas' drink. For me, it tasted mostly like just coffee and chocolate. I do really like how you used the marshmallow and oat thing and blended it together because it made the texture of the drink really good. Yeah, great job, Nicolas.
Okay. Last but not least, we have MIMO competing from their home in Brooklyn, New York. Now, MIMO is the co-owner of a tiki bar, so I actually have pretty high expectations for this one. Let's see if MIMO's drink lives up to the hype.
I guess the whole concept is basically making a non-alcoholic milk punch out of this. So I'm hoping this is gonna taste something like raspberry tart. If not, well, we'll see it when we get there. Gonna juice about 5 limes, so then I can get about half a cup of lime juice. You want it to be fresh, so then it'll theoretically curdle the oat milk. Also going to be making a grenadine. And instead of using sugar, I'm going to be using the piglin candy as well as the licorice to add a little bit of spice. I'm also going to be using like 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, so that I could just get a tiny kick, but like really it's just going to give it more of an orange color. I'm going to turn off my heat and put this to the side and let it cool down a little bit while I go get my coffee ready. So do 16 grams, 100 grams for my bloom, and then just top it off with another 100 at the end. It smells really tasty. On the stove, I have 1 cup of oat milk, and we're basically, once it boils, we're going to be pouring the half cup of lime juice and the 1 cup of oat milk go in at the same time.
I don't want to say what it is.
Basically, we're just going to leave this in the fridge for a couple hours, and then I'm going to filter it. Alright y'all, so this is the end result, but it smells super fruity. And then you can even smell a little bit of the oat milk in it, which is pretty cool. You know, serve her in a little glass. Cheers, and cancellate. Oh, it's almost like an orange clementine color.
Okay, so MIMO.
Round I'm most looking forward to is the signature bev.
Your drink was fucking delicious. It was just so good. Like the acidity was super great. It was just juicy, really well balanced. I wanted to drink like 2 liters of it, and how you used all the ingredients, your creativity, your recipe, like everything was just great. Amazing. Really good job.
Okay, so we've crunched the numbers and calculated the scores, and I'm thrilled to congratulate MIMO on taking top points this week with 28 out of a possible 30. Followed closely behind by Kat with 23 points, and Anne and Kendra with 22 points each. Now, before we move on, I would love to send a special thank you to our special guest judge, Gabriella Runesson, for building all these drinks from scratch and scoring them for us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
So, now let's check in on the total scores for our competitors. So after that maximum score in this round, MIMO has taken the lead with 43 points, followed closely behind by Anne with 40 points, Kat with 35, and Kendra with 34. With our final episode still in the works and 30 more points to be awarded, there's still plenty of room for twists, turns, and surprises. Well, that's all for round 2. In the next episode, we'll have the final competition, the roasting challenge. Make sure you know where to find us by clicking on the subscribe button below, or follow us on Instagram for all of the updates, the bloopers, and all of the action. Let us know in the comments who you're rooting for, as well as what you loved most about our competitors' cocktail shenanigans. Again, I'm your host Sarah, and thanks for being a part of the Barista League online. See you next episode!